The man looked at the huge skin before him, carefully stroking it and pulling a hair from it, then told the king it was a mouse skin. When the king heard this answer, he said it was incorrect. Another man took out a magnifying glass and studied the skin for a long time, then confidently said it was the skin of the forest god. But the king still said no, and the princess sighed with relief, because if someone guessed correctly, she would have to marry him. Then came a gentleman, and the princess secretly rejoiced. But the gentleman also guessed wrong, leaving the princess extremely disappointed. Just then, an ugly wild man suddenly came forward, sniffed the skin, and said it was a flea skin. The king never imagined that the wild man would guess the correct answer. It turned out that a few years ago, while the princess was playing the guitar in the palace, a flea suddenly appeared in the king's hand. Watching it jump around in his palm, the king was quite amused, so he simply took the flea back and kept it as a pet, sometimes even pricking his finger to let it drink his blood. Under the king's careful nurturing, in just a few days, the flea grew to the size of a thumb. To make the flea grow faster, the king fed it pork chops with beef blood, and before long, it grew as big as a small dog. Looking at such an adorable flea, the king felt gratified and would gently pat its head every day, just like he would his own son. One day, the royal physician was urgently summoned to the palace, and nervously asked His Majesty where he felt unwell. Before he could gather his thoughts, he saw the giant flea beside the king. At the king's urging, the physician didn't hesitate, took out his stethoscope and began examining the flea. But before he could begin treatment, the flea had already stopped breathing. It turned out that the flea had eaten too much and was literally stuffed to death by the king.